Hi guys, it's that time again. Yeah, card booty time. So let's see what we got. We have two things to look at here. The first one is this. So this says on the front of it, I'm sure you can read it actually, it's not quite focused I suppose. Core i5 7th generation. And it contains, well, a motherboard, cooler, and I'm pretty sure there's a processor underneath it. Gigabyte GA-H110M S2V. I've had these before off this guy, and these seem quite prone to having faulty PCH. €30 this one cost me in the end. The guy's getting a bit savvy. If it says DDR4 on it, he wants more money, and I really argued to get it for 25, but he wasn't having none of it in the end. It was €30. But I'm thinking of the 7th Gen i5. I've probably got a chance to make some money off this, even if I can't get the motherboard working, assuming it's faulty. So I think the first thing we'll do with this is check the shorts on the 12 volts coming in. So we'll just get the multimeter, the trusty fluke. Let's see what we have here. Well, it ain't short circuit now, it's climbing up quite nicely. So it ain't short circuit. It has a funny little power supply, small one, 300 watt, which can be quite handy if they're working actually. So that's something else that could be useful out of this. Oh, bang my head on the lamp there. Did you spot that? Okay, so I think we'll just make sure the limiter isn't switched on, the current limiter. I'm going to throw caution to the wind. I'm just going to plug this in and see what happens to it. I hope nothing dramatic happens. I'll just switch the power off at the switch, plug it in, and now let's see what it does. Well, that's what it does, nothing. And we try and switch it on. And there's no RAM in. There's no bleeper on this. No. If there is a bleeper, I can't see it, and it doesn't do anything. So, we'll unplug the power. I'm going to get the motherboard out of here anyway, get us onto the workbench with a known good power supply, and then let's see if we can figure out what this is or isn't doing. I have this plugged in. I found the speaker connector just here, so there wasn't a speaker attached before, there isn't now. I have a start switch. I have a known good power supply on here, so let's see if there's any signs of life other than the fan spinning. And I have to say that there isn't, not on, so there is. Then let's get some DDR4 RAM and see what this actually does. I have some DDR4 here which I bought second hand off eBay, 2 4-gig strips. We'll put this in. Just yeah, powers off on the power supply. Let's have a look to see what this does with these. Okay, they're in. Probably a good idea to connect the monitor now. And let's see, put some power on. Let's see if we get anything out of it now. Well, apparently not. Oh well, the monitor lights come on. It's switched off, switched on. Oh, this looks like a good sign. I have a blue light on the monitor, but no picture as of yet. Switched off, switched on. But still no picture. And off again. So it seems to be stuck in some sort of boot cycle now. Without giving a picture. Yeah, there we go again. I think this is fairly typical of a PCH problem, but we can maybe have a look. Just, yeah. Or it could be a BIOS problem. Worth a try. BIOS is here, so we could try BIOS. I mean, I'm pretty sure all the voltages were up because it actually got some bleeps when there was RAM not fitted, yeah. So it's definitely doing something. Okay, let's just switch that off. Turn the power off on the power supply. Let's just get the check on the monitor. Go to VGA. Let's try the onboard VGA and see if that does anything. Go. Let's try that. Okay. Go in there. That's it. It's in. Right. Power this up then with the VGA on. See what it does. Well, I have the monitor set to, or I will have the monitor set at the moment to VGA now. Let's see if it's actually doing anything. No, it's just saying VGA, no signal. Okay, let's just try the, so we'll get the Cmos battery. Okay. Yeah, that's over 3 volts, that's okay. We have a clear Cmos jumper somewhere down here, I think. It does mention one, but I'm not sure I can actually see one. Clear Cmos. It mentions on the silk screen printing here, clear Cmos, but then I can't actually see where the jumper is to clear the Cmos. It's interesting. Okay. Let's try it with just one strip of RAM. And I have some other DDR4 here as well, so just put the one in. Let's see what it does now. Nothing. I don't get the blue light on the monitor with the VGA. I did with the DVI, even though there was no picture. So we'll go back to DVI again. Switched off at the moment on the power supply. Okay, DVI again on. Blue light on, but no picture. Blue light but no picture. I'm going to try putting just the RAM in the other slot, and then I'm going to try using the post analyzer card. This is a Gigabyte, so it should work with it in the actual slot. We can try. So let's put the RAM into here. In fact, I'll also just insert it a few times into the slot. This is sometimes a problem you find where it's not effectively making a good contact due to dust in the slots. Okay. Power's on. What's that do? Anything? Well, actually now I don't get a blue light on the monitor. Oh, I do get a blue light on the monitor, but I don't get a picture. I just restart a couple of times. Yeah, blue light's coming on but no picture, and it's stopping and starting again. Okay, the fourth time it's still not actually booting up. Okay, so I think I've just switched off the power supply. Let's go again. I have some more DDR4 here, which I'm also just going to try in a minute. So let's just once again, let's just kind of seat this several times into the slot, in the first slot. And one more time. What do we get? Blue light comes on the monitor. No picture. I'll try the post analyzer, see what that tells us. And I might just try this with a graphics card in the slot in case for some reason the onboard video isn't working. But I doubt it because this is switching off and on. So that doesn't seem normal and it's not bleeping. I've put the post analyzer card in so we can actually have a look to see what this is doing now. Put the power on and we can just start it. And you see it counts up to 9.7 and then kind of resets. There we go. 9.7 resets. Let's put the RAM into the slot. Let's just see if that actually does the same thing. I've switched the power off, so it'll stop now. Switched off at the power supply. Let's try in this slot. Well, that behaves differently. No, it goes to 9.7 eventually, then stops. Yeah, so it kind of gets to the same place in the end. I'll just switch that off again. Let's have another go with both. Okay, both fitted. Start. It's evidently going quite a long way through the boot sequence before it gets to this point and shuts down. I don't think the code will tell us anything very useful, but we can have a look. I've had a look and this code 97 appears to be a problem with the onboard video or with the video or with the PCIe in the video. What I have noticed, I've just tried, is you've seen the analyzer card works in this slot. You put in the other PCIe slot, it doesn't, well, it comes on but doesn't count any codes. Now that may well be that the BIOS is only sending codes to the first slot, so I wouldn't read anything particularly into the fact that it doesn't give any codes other than 00 in this one. What I'm going to try next with this is I'm going to try a GPU in here just to see if it actually works, and I'm also going to try, if that doesn't work, with a single mining adapter from here going to a GPU to see if that works, and maybe that will tell us a little bit more about this one. I have a working GTX 750 Ti here, so we can just try this one. I have the analyzer card and you can't see it, it's behind here, but it's still going to 97. I can see it. So let it go again. So that still goes to 97, then resets. Well, once more, let's see. Yeah, so that's doing the same thing. So putting an external graphics card in didn't help. I'm now going to try the single channel mining adapter with an external GPU. Again, the GTX 750 Ti. Let's see if this does anything. I have a blue light on the monitor but no picture, and we have the same thing happening again. Obviously we don't have the analyzer card in now, but that didn't make any difference. I think the next thing we can try with this one would be to download a known good BIOS and reprogram the BIOS and see if that helps. Off camera I also tried different RAM, by the way, but it made no difference. Although the code is saying it's a problem with the display adapter. It quite likely is a problem with the PCH, so it's not talking to the slots correctly, although it does send codes to the analyzer card here, so there's obviously some communication going on to the PCIe. I found the CMOS jumper. It's just here basically, so I've tried clearing the CMOS and that's made no difference. I still get to 97 and it stops. I'm going to try next just to reprogram the BIOS. We'll just take the RAM off, and I'm going to take the heatsink off of the PCH. Just want to see if that's all dried out. It wouldn't surprise me. It does seem to be with these H110s that the PCH is having habit of failing. I've had them before, these motherboards. Actually, this one doesn't look particularly bad. Quite often they're kind of like burnt into this sort of pad dip on here. I mean, you can kind of see where a mark where the top of the die was, but it doesn't seem like it's burnt into it, which I've often seen with these. So we can do that. We can remove the CMOS. So the BIOS chip is actually here. So we need to get some things off the board. CMOS. We'll get the CPU with heatsink off as well. In fact, while we're at it, let's just check which CPU is fitted on this. I mean, it should be a compatible one. I'm assuming this is effectively the original condition, but we can have a look to see what we have here. So, and maybe see if the CPU is actually worth more than we paid. That's very dry. That's very dry. So I mean, it could be a problem with the CPU. Let's just get a bit of isopropyl and clean this off and see what we've actually got here. I've zoomed the camera down so we can all do this together. Let's see what we actually have. So that's a bit of isopropyl. This is clean off now. What CPU have we got? Well, it's an i5-7400. i5-7400. That's the first 7th generation I've actually found at the car boot sale. That might well be worth what I paid for the whole thing. I don't know. Let's have a quick look out of interest. Because I'm assuming here either the CPU is okay or the motherboard is okay. I'd be very surprised to find they're both faulty. But let's just see if what this thing is actually worth out of interest. Well, it seems, and bear in mind these are sold listings. So 61 plus 21 postage. This is in the UK. £70 by now, 43 in auction. That's actually a faulty one. £47 in auction, £58 one bid in auction, 43, 47. This is telling me that even if I put this into auction, the CPU is worth more than the €30 I paid for the whole thing. So I'm definitely not going to lose money on this. And bear in mind, this is pounds, so we can multiply this by about 1.2 to get into euros. So let's have a quick look. So 43 times 1.2 is 51. Yeah, less the 10% eBay cost, so it becomes about 45 even at that price. So I've definitely got profit here. €15 even if I put it in auction and got this price. If I sell it on a buy it now and get this, well, all the better. Now let's do a couple of things. I want to see if I can find, I have some 6th generation i3 or something. If a 6th gen will work on this board, then hopefully I can prove if this CPU is good. You know, if the other processor doesn't work, I'm pretty sure it is the motherboard, and I don't think we'll have both faulty. So we can try that. But I think first of all I would just like to try reprogramming this BIOS, and let's see what this actually does. So to unsolder this, we're going to use the soldering iron to add some leaded solder to all the pins first, and then we're going to heat it up with hot air, and the leaded solder will reduce the melting point, so I should be able to unsolder this without harming the RAM slots here or this capacitor. So that's the plan. Let me just get the soldering iron switched on. First of all then, let's get a bit of flux on here, and let's see if we can get some solder onto it. Just normal 60-40 leaded solder this, which I actually need to buy some more. I've had this for years. It was like half a kilo, but I'm definitely gonna have to I might be down to maybe the last layer here, so I'm gonna have to buy some more of this. Let's get in here. I'm now trying to get enough solder just to bridge all the pins together, but make it easier to desolder. There we go. I have it. And the same on the other side. Just trying to find the best direction to come at this with these RAM slots being so close, but we should be able to go in like this. That side went a bit easier, so I now have solder bridging all the pins together. I'll put this on the preheater, just get some warmth in from underneath first, and then it should desolder much quicker with the hot air, which effectively would hopefully prevent any damage to these slots. And I'll also try and, well, yeah, I'm going to have to bring the heat in from one direction or another. It might just be better straight down on this actually. We'll give it a go. I've removed the CPU and obviously the Cmos BIOS, so the Cmos battery, sorry, as well. Just checking the slot before I do this, and the slot looks good, so I don't think we have a problem there. So as I said, I'll just use the preheater to warm this up, and then we'll try to get this off nice and clean. That's actually warming up quite nicely now, so I'll just turn the preheater up. We'll get the hot air, and let's see if we can remove this without damaging anything. Yep. You can see that came off nice and clean there. Okay, preheater off, down to cold, let it cool down. It looks like I didn't actually melt anything, which is nice. And then once it's all cooled down, we can try to reprogram this BIOS, and let's see if that actually fixes this for us. I have the EEPROM ready, and we can see it's a 25L6473E. So we need to program this now. Previously, I would solder the chip to this little PCB, and then I can insert it into the programmer and program it, and then desolder it to get it ready to put back on the board. But I now have some of these little adapters, so with this, basically, I just put the chip inside the adapter, which can be a little bit fiddly, but still, let's just see if we can do it. Yeah, you can see it there, so you can see like the clasps move out. I push down on this and let go, so that holds the chip in place. And I have a few of these in different sizes for different size chips. I have some more of them, so these are very useful. Another one here, a smaller one, so I think these will save me quite a bit of time and messing about. Although, to be honest, it doesn't take that long to actually solder the thing into place on the adapter, so you can program it. Anyway, that's ready to go. Now maybe just push it slightly that way. Yeah, that looks good. So let's now see if we can program this chip. It's ready to go. So this is the software, the Mini Pro software. I've set the programmer for the right type of chip. This is the part number on the chip itself. Selected that, and then I hit read. So I've already read this chip, but I'll do it again now because it's wiped it out by doing so. So we hit read, and we can actually read the chip. So this is now making a backup of the original BIOS that we took from the motherboard. Okay, that says read finish, so it's done it. We can now save that. I've actually already done it, but I'll just show you. So I can just go to save, and I've already saved it, it's here, so I have that. Now we can actually reprogram the BIOS chip. To do that, we need to open the file, which I've downloaded from Gigabyte's website. So I've gone to Gigabyte's website, searched this motherboard part number GA-H110M-S2V, and downloaded the latest BIOS, which is version 25 or 2.5, and we can now open that. So this is the one I've actually downloaded. You'll see it's a different file type. This is a bin file, the one I saved, and this is the one I downloaded. It came in this zip, and it came with this little utility here, but we're not going to use that because we can't even get this motherboard to boot up. What we can just do is check the one we downloaded from the BIOS itself. It's an 8 meg file, and then we can check the one we downloaded from the website, and we can see that's also an 8 meg file, so it's definitely the right size file. So we'll open the F25 file, just click on OK, and we now have it. So this is the file which I downloaded. Sometimes you can actually see some text in these if you scroll through them, especially further towards the end. You may find some readable text. Not that it's particularly important, and I can't spot any in this one, but it may well be there. It's quite common with BIOS files to find great chunks of FF. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with the file. That's quite normal. So we'll now program our chip. So we click on Repeat to Program and we will program the chip. It's recognised the chip, it's now erasing, and then it will program and verify the chip. This will take a few minutes. Okay, so that's completed, programming successful. So now we just need to put the chip back onto our board, and let's see what it does now. The BIOS is back where it belongs then, soldered nicely back into place. I'll just put the heatsink back onto the PCH, and then let's have a look to see if that's actually made any difference to this motherboard. Will it now boot? Everything's plugged back in, so no more messing. Let's just see what it does. Well, it came on and went off again. Switched on. It's trying to boot. I should get the camera to show you what the thing is doing on the little analyzer. Okay, it's shut itself down again. Oh, you can see it now. Oh, okay, yeah, right. We have a picture, guys. We have a picture. Okay, so that's looking good. Let's get a mouse and let's see if we can just set the BIOS and then see what this does now. So we're in the BIOS now. I'll just basically set the date and time because it thinks it's 2009. We'll just do factory default settings or whatever it calls them. Upload the optimized defaults. We'll set a date and time, and then we can try this with Windows. I've installed all the drivers on Windows, and we have, you can see, i5 7400 3 GHz, 8 gig of dual channel RAM. That's the DDR4, that's what it sees it as anyway. Intel graphics 630 on board. And that basically seems to be working fine as far as I can say. So that's a bit of result. Then we have a working motherboard and CPU. Now I did mention at the start of this video that I got two things at the car boot sale. The other thing is actually a batch of stuff. So let's have a look at what else we got. So basically I got a whole bag of stuff here, and I'll show you what's in the bag. I paid €20 for the whole lot, by the way. This is I think it's well, it's an NVIDIA. It's going to be a GT630, which came missing the heatsink completely, but the screws are still in. It's like the thing's actually been hit and broken off the board. I'd be interested to see if this works, and we'll try it in a minute, and we'll see. So that came in. Then I have this lot. So I have two HyperX Fury. Now I've tested these already. I had these in my test rig, the one I use for testing and repairing GPUs, and it says 16. And I've tested them because I wonder if they were actually 16 gig each, but it's not. With kit of 2, and they're actually 8 gig each strip. So that's 16 gig of DDR3, and that I've already tested, and that is working. We also have in here, and I've not checked this yet, this one you can see is an 8 gig DDR4 2400, and I also have this one which is very similar, 8 gig DDR4 2400. So I have two of those, crucial, and we can test these in the one we've just fixed, so we can get those ready to check to see if they're actually any good or not. So I'll just take this out of here. Then I also have here, this is DDR3, 2 matching 4 gig strips, so we can test that in the test rig we use to repair GPUs. There's this one, Crucial Ballistic Sport, just single DIMM. Is this another DDR3? Yeah, looks like it. I'm not sure what this actually is exactly. Well, I can soon tell, because if I take the this is DDR3, yeah, and it matches. So I have that one there as well. This is similar to those two Kingston ones I have actually. Sorry, yes, the two Kingston ones. So we have that one as well. We have two more. These ones, Kingston again, matching, and these are a couple of 2 gigs DDR3. We have 2 of these DDR3 again, and these are, I think they're matching. Let's see, yeah, they're a matching pair as well, but they're only 2 gig each strips. You have 2 of those we can test. We have a little 2.5-inch hard drive. It's only a 500 gig, but those are 250 gig. Let's try it. And then I have some processors which I don't have any boards to test at the moment. AMD FX 4100, A6 5400. I may have a board to test this, but the board needs repair. And lastly, we want to mucky with heatsink compound all over it. This is a Core i3, I think that says. Let me just look at the microscope one moment. Sorry about banging the microphone there, but I'll just tell you what this thing is. Oh no, it's not an i3. This is a i7, I think. i7 2600. Oops, microphone again. You're going to hate me for that. So a Core i7 2600, which I'm sure I've got a board somewhere I can test. But right now we can test all this DDR3, and we can test the DDR4 and the board we've just repaired. So let's have a quick look, see what we have working here. And the same with the GPU. I have one of the strips of DDR4 in, and that's actually working. It sees there a single channel 8 gig, but the other one is just giving like a bleeping noise, so there's no RAM installed. But I'm just going to shut it down and just try this again to see whether maybe it was the dirty contacts. I've just given them a clean with a bit of isopropyl. Let's see again if this one's working. Otherwise, we have one good strip and one bad strip, 8 gig of DDR4, which is okay. And maybe we can even try to figure out what's wrong with this one. I mean, can you fix these by changing one chip? Be interesting to know. Can you even get the chips? That'll also be interesting to know. Okay, so I've shut this back down again, and let's see. I'll just try again with the 2 strips and see whether or not it'll actually work. Previously it was just bleeping like to say there was no RAM. Just waiting for the thing to shut down. There we go. So power off. Just make sure the battery is yeah. So make sure the power supply is discharged, yeah. With the thing connected, switch will come off the terminals. Okay, well it must have been discharged by now. Let's just try again with the second one of these. Otherwise we have one good and one bad. I tried this one on its own previously, the second one, and it was just making the bleeping noises that there was no RAM inserted, and the post analyzer was coming up with C1. Okay, we're both in. Okay, so let's see what this does now with 2 in. It's kind of going around a bit of a funny loop in the counter there. I think it's going to go up and fail. Give it one moment. Yeah, I think it's going to go to C1 and just say, yeah, there you go. So we have one good strip of 8 and one not working strip of 8. And maybe an interesting video to see what's going on with that. Let's just grab the test rig and let's see what's happening with all the DDR3. Okay, the RAM is all okay, working. I'll just go through them all in a minute. This is the graphics card without the heatsink on. I just want to see if this actually boots up at least as far as the BIOS screen. So let's just try that out of interest, see if we get anything out of it at all. We've got a bleep. Yeah, this isn't working. I think I don't have a blue light on the monitor. The GPU is getting warm, so I've definitely got power to it. But no, I'm on HDMI. Yeah, okay. So basically, I can show you what we have working out of this lot as well. I've just also tried the little hard drive. I haven't bothered to partition this or format it. It's there. I mean, Specky knows it's there. It's not there on Windows. but I don't know what's on it, and it's not really worth anything. 250 gig, but that might well be working. Probably just needs partitioning and formatting, and then obviously it needs a surface scan to see if it actually really is any good. So we can sort of say, yeah, maybe that's working. Okay, so I'll show you what I do have working out of this bag of stuff. Just to top that up a little bit, so we have the 250 gig hard drive that might be working. We have the 2 strips of RAM which are actually switched off, which are actually in the machine. So we have 8 gig of DDR3, 2 4 gigs working. I have the 2 8 gigs DDR3 working, the Fury IFPARNZR. Does it say what speed they are? I'm sure it does somewhere. Whatever they are, they're working. We have the 2 sets of 2 gig each IFPARNZR working. We have the 2 gigs Kingston working. We have the single 4 gig Kingston working, and we have a single 4 gig Ballistic Sport working. We also have the 2 strips of DDR4, one of which is working and one of which isn't. And then I haven't had a chance to test the processors, but the i7-2600, I'm fairly sure you'll find these are working. I mean, just about everything else in this bag, apart from 1 strip of DDR4, was working. The A6-5400 and the AMD FX D4100. So I'm probably going to say they're probably working. I just don't have a motherboard to test them at the moment. So I'll show you what that lot is worth on eBay and sold listings. You'll see that coming up now. And that's the end of that video. So all in all, I spent €50. I maybe forgot to mention I have a GPU that doesn't work, but it could be fun to have a look at that. And I'm interested to look at that DDR4, see if we can figure out what's wrong with one of them. So that might be interesting. So as well as some interesting stuff, €50 spent. You've just seen what it's worth. So I think we can call that really quite a good purchase. And I'll be looking out for more of this stuff at the next car boot sale. Okay guys, hope you enjoyed this, hope you liked the motherboard repair, and I'll see you all soon on another Learn Electronics Repair video. Ciao for now guys.